Most people believe that running a productive farm means pushing harder every year. Longer days, more equipment, more fuel, more hours spent fixing problems that never seem to end. Somewhere along the way, farming was sold as a test of endurance rather than intelligence. But what if productivity didn't come from doing more, and instead came from letting the right systems do the work for you? Here's something most farmers never stop to question. Some of the most effective workers on a farm don't burn diesel, don't need maintenance schedules, and never send you a bill. They don't need to be motivated or reminded. They simply do what they were designed to do, day after day, quietly improving your land while reducing your workload at the same time. In this video, I'm sharing 7 animals that function less like livestock and more like living tools. Each one solves a specific farm problem naturally. Problems like pests, overgrowth, soil degradation, land preparation, and predator pressure. Some of these solutions are obvious once you see them. Others are overlooked so often that most farmers walk right past them without realizing what they're missing. One of them, especially, surprises almost everyone the first time they use it. If you're someone who wants a farm that feels calmer, more efficient, and more sustainable without destroying your body or your budget, you're in the right place. This channel focuses on practical farming wisdom that works in the real world. No hype, no pressure, just systems that quietly make life easier. I share this kind of thinking regularly, and subscribing means you won't have to constantly search for answers. They'll simply show up when you need them. I'm genuinely glad you're here. Let's start with the simplest and most underestimated worker on almost any farm: chickens. Chickens matter because they solve problems most farmers deal with every single day without even realizing how much time and money those problems consume. Pest pressure, soil fatigue, compost management. These issues usually get addressed with sprays, fertilizers, machines, or extra labor. Chickens handle all of it naturally without adding complexity to your system. The reason chickens work so well is straightforward. They are relentless foragers. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't need schedules or reminders. Even on days when you're overwhelmed or busy elsewhere, they're scratching, pecking, eating insects, loosening soil, and fertilizing the ground as they move. This consistency is what makes them so valuable. It's also why the relationship lasts. Getting started doesn't require a big investment. A simple coop and a small flock of 5 to 10 birds is enough. If you already have some outdoor space, you're ready. The goal isn't to micromanage them. It's to let them move through designated areas naturally. No complicated rotation plans, no constant adjustments. Just access to fresh water and basic feed support. That alone keeps the system running. Over time, chickens do more than reduce pests and improve soil. They change how your farm feels. Less chemical spraying, less reacting to problems. More balance, and as a quiet bonus, fresh eggs every morning. Many farmers add mobile chicken tractors to make rotation easier, but even that isn't required. Chickens work whether the system is simple or refined. They're incredibly versatile. Chickens thrive in orchards, gardens, and pastures. They consume ticks, mosquitoes, grasshoppers, and insects that damage crops or annoy livestock. They also excel at composting. Kitchen scraps, garden waste, and weeds get converted into nutrient-rich fertilizer. Their manure adds nitrogen in a form that feeds soil life, instead of damaging it without runoff or long-term degradation. Most farms can support chickens with minimal infrastructure. Shelter for weather and predators. Basic fencing to guide movement. That's it, the return comes quickly. Egg production alone often covers feed costs within months. Everything else they provide would cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars using conventional methods. Chickens also scale beautifully. Start small to learn their rhythm. Expand as you see results. Large farms run hundreds through crop fields for targeted soil improvement, while small homesteads benefit just as much from a handful of birds. The principle never changes. Let chickens do what they naturally do, and your farm quietly becomes healthier and easier to manage. The next animal solves one of the most draining problems on any piece of land: overgrowth brush. Weeds that steal space, block access, and slowly make your farm feel smaller every year. This is where goats quietly outperform machines. Goats matter because they take on work that normally costs time, fuel, or money. Clearing brush, invasive plants, and rough vegetation is exhausting with equipment. Mowers struggle, herbicides bring long-term problems, and manual clearing eats entire weekends. Goats remove all of that friction. The reason goats are so effective is biology. Unlike most grazing animals, goats prefer what you don't want. Woody plants, thorns, briars, invasive weeds. They actively seek out vegetation that cows and sheep avoid. They don't need encouragement. They don't wait for ideal conditions. If there's brush, they'll eat it. Getting started is simpler than most people think. Secure fencing is the main requirement. 2 or 3 goats are enough to make a visible difference on a small area. You're not trying to clear everything at once. You're rotating them through problem zones, letting them work naturally. No machines, no chemicals, no constant supervision. Daily needs are minimal fresh water, access to minerals. That's enough to keep them healthy and productive. Over time, goats don't just clear land. They change how manageable your property feels. Areas that once felt overwhelming slowly become usable again. Fence lines reappear, paths open up, pastures expand without you lifting a blade. There's a powerful secondary effect most farmers don't expect. Goats reduce fire risk. By removing dry brush and undergrowth, they create natural fire breaks. This is why municipalities and fire departments across the country now use goats for wildfire prevention. That same protection applies to your buildings, fences, and livestock. Goats also excel where equipment fails. Steep slopes, rocky ground. Wet areas, tight spaces near structures. Places where machines are dangerous or impractical are exactly where goats shine. They move confidently, work quietly, and don't compact soil the way heavy equipment does. Invasive species control is another hidden advantage. Plants like kudzu, multiflora rose, and blackberry brambles resist mowing and spraying. Goats devour them. With repeated grazing, these invasives weaken season after season until they disappear. What feels like an endless battle turns into steady progress. The economics surprise most people. Professional brush clearing can cost thousands per acre. Goats do the same work for basic care and fencing. And unlike hired services, goats keep working year after year. Many farmers realize they've essentially replaced an expense with an asset. There's also flexibility built in. Goats can provide milk, meat, or breeding income, but they don't have to. You can treat land management as their primary job and view production as a bonus. Either way, you're stacking benefits without stacking complexity. A simple improvement some farmers make is running chickens after goats. Goats clear the brush. Chickens follow, controlling insects and fertilizing the disturbed ground. This isn't required, but it shows how these systems can layer naturally once the first problem is solved. If your land feels like it's constantly fighting back, goats change that relationship. Instead of you pushing harder every season, the land slowly starts cooperating. That shift alone makes farming feel lighter. Next comes an animal most farmers overlook completely, and it solves a problem that ruins crops quietly, overnight, and relentlessly. This is the one most farmers underestimate, even though it solves a problem that destroys crops silently and repeatedly: slugs and snails. Ducks handle this better than anything else on a farm. Ducks matter because they target pests that other solutions struggle with. Slugs and snails don't respond well to sprays, traps, or hand picking. They thrive in moisture, hide during the day, and undo weeks of work in a single night. Ducks eliminate them efficiently without damaging your crops. The reason ducks work so well is how they forage. Unlike chickens, ducks don't scratch aggressively. They move gently through gardens, beds, and rows, scanning for movement. Slugs, snails, and soft-bodied insects are exactly what they prefer. They eat them whole, quickly, and thoroughly, even in wet conditions when pests are most active. Getting started is easy. 3 to 4 ducks are enough for a small garden or problem area. They don't need a pond. A simple kiddie pool or shallow water container is sufficient. If you've ever walked into your garden and found leaves riddled with holes, you're already ready for ducks. The system itself is simple. Let them patrol early in the morning or near dusk when pests are active. No spraying schedules, no bait stations, no late-night flashlight patrols, just ducks doing what they naturally do. To keep it working, focus on one thing only: clean water for swimming and drinking. That's it. Over time, ducks don't just reduce pest damage, they change the tone of your growing season. Seedlings survive, mature plants stay intact. Harvest losses drop dramatically. You stop reacting to problems and start trusting the system again. A small improvement that makes integration easier is choosing Indian runner ducks. They're upright, active, and exceptional foragers. They require less water space and move constantly through beds. This breed isn't required, but it makes the process smoother, especially in vegetable gardens. Slug and snail damage costs farmers thousands every year. These pests destroy lettuce, strawberries, brassicas, and young transplants. Chemical slug pellets work temporarily, but come with risks to pets, wildlife, and soil health. They also need constant reapplication, especially after rain. Ducks remove the problem permanently as long as they're present. The impact shows quickly, leaves stop disappearing. Fruit stays untouched. Plants grow without mysterious damage. Many farmers see noticeable improvement within weeks, not seasons. Ducks also play a role in wet systems. In rice paddies and water-heavy crops, they eat insects while fertilizing naturally. This ancient farming practice is now being rediscovered by American growers. Some report yield increases simply from adding ducks to the system. The eggs are an added advantage. Duck eggs are larger, richer, and preferred by bakers. They command higher prices and offer better nutrition. Even if ducks are kept purely for pest control, the eggs become a valuable secondary benefit. If you've ever felt like pests were winning no matter what you tried, ducks quietly tip the balance back in your favor. They don't fight nature, they use it. Next comes an animal that keeps land productive without fuel, noise, or constant attention, and it's one of the most underrated tools for pasture management. Sheep are the quiet stabilizers of a healthy farm. They don't look impressive while they're working, but the results compound year after year in ways machinery never can. Sheep matter because they maintain pasture without turning it into a maintenance problem. Grass grows whether you want it to or not. When it gets out of control, farmers usually respond with mowers, fuel, repairs, and time. Sheep replace that entire cycle with steady biological management. The reason sheep work so well is their grazing behavior. They prefer grass. They graze close to the ground but not destructively when managed properly. They move slowly and evenly, trimming pasture in a way machines can't replicate. They don't need perfect timing or constant supervision. They simply graze every day. Getting started is straightforward. 3 to 5 sheep can manage a small pasture effectively. Basic fencing and a simple rotation plan are enough. You don't need complex paddock systems to begin. If you have grass growing faster than you want, you're already set up for sheep. The system itself stays simple. Rotate them through sections as grass height changes. No mowing schedules, no fuel costs, no constant breakdowns. To keep it running, focus on mineral access and routine hoof care. That's enough to keep sheep healthy and productive. Over time, sheep do more than maintain pasture. They improve it. Their manure adds organic matter. Their hooves lightly disturb soil crust, improving water infiltration. Grass responds by growing deeper roots. Deeper roots hold moisture, prevent erosion, and build soil carbon. Pastures grazed by sheep become thicker, greener, and more resilient than mowed fields. A small adjustment that makes sheep easier to manage is choosing hair sheep instead of wool breeds. Hair sheep shed naturally, eliminating the need for shearing. This isn't required, but it removes one task from the system and simplifies management. The economics surprise many farmers. Mowers depreciate, fuel costs rise, repairs never end. Sheep, by contrast, maintain land while producing value. Meat, lambs, and sometimes wool turn pasture management into a profit center instead of an expense. Sheep work especially well on smaller acreages. 5 to 10 acres can support a meaningful flock. That makes them ideal for homesteads, part-time farms, and operations that want agricultural tax status without massive land requirements. They also excel where equipment struggles. Steep hills, rocky ground. Orchard rows, vineyards. Sheep move where machines can't without damaging crops or soil. Some wineries even market lamb raised in vineyards as a premium product. Another overlooked benefit is fire fuel reduction. Grazed pastures contain less dry grass that feeds wildfires. In regions with increasing fire risk, this matters. Some areas offer incentives or tax benefits for grazing as a fire prevention strategy. Sheep don't demand attention, they reward consistency. Left alone to do what they do best, they quietly turn grass into fertility, stability, and income. Next is an animal that doesn't touch the ground at all, but protects everything on it. Predator pressure is one of the most draining stresses on a farm. It's not just the animals you lose, it's the constant background anxiety. The nights you wake up listening, the mornings you walk the fence line hoping nothing went wrong. This is where livestock guardian dogs change everything. Guardian dogs matter because they don't wait for problems to happen, they prevent them. Unlike alarms, lights, or deterrents, they live with your animals and respond instantly, day or night, whether you're present or not. The reason they work is instinct. Breeds like Great Pyrenees, Anatolian Shepherds, and Maremas were developed specifically to bond with livestock and protect them. They don't need command-based training. When raised with animals, their default behavior is guarding. It's constant and automatic. Starting is simpler than most people expect. One guardian dog puppy placed with livestock between 8 and 10 weeks old is enough for a small operation. The key isn't teaching obedience. It's letting the bond form naturally. The dog learns what belongs to it, and it defends that boundary without hesitation. The system stays low maintenance. Proper food, clean water, and annual veterinary care keep them healthy. They don't need daily walks or stimulation like pet dogs. Their job gives them purpose. They patrol, watch, and rest when nothing is happening. Over time, the effect is dramatic. Predator losses drop sharply. Many farms go from regular attacks to none at all. More importantly, the mental load disappears. You stop worrying every time you hear a noise. You stop counting animals every morning with tension in your chest. A small improvement that increases effectiveness is using 2 guardian dogs instead of 1. They work as a team, covering more territory and backing each other up. This isn't necessary at first, but it becomes valuable as herds grow or predator pressure increases. Guardian dogs also reduce indirect losses. Stressed animals eat less, grow slower, and produce less. When livestock feels safe, productivity improves quietly. Health stabilizes, breeding success increases. The entire system calms down. Unlike fencing or deterrents that fail over time, guardian dogs adapt. Predators test boundaries, dogs respond. Coyotes learn. Pressure moves elsewhere. This learning curve is something no static system can replicate. They aren't perfect. They require commitment and respect for their role. But once integrated, they become one of the most valuable assets on the farm. Not because they add production, but because they remove fear. Next is an animal that prepares land, builds soil, and saves thousands in equipment costs without ever turning a key. Pigs are the ultimate natural landscapers on a farm. They transform land preparation from backbreaking labor into a self-sustaining process. Whether it's plowing, clearing weeds, or loosening compacted soil, pigs do it all with their natural rooting behavior. Unlike machines, they don't need fuel, maintenance, or supervision, they just work. The reason pigs are so effective is simple. Their instinct is to root. As they search for food, they turn over soil, remove roots and debris, and mix in their manure, naturally fertilizing the ground. This means that what normally takes days of manual labor or expensive equipment is done quietly and efficiently, while simultaneously improving soil fertility. Getting started is straightforward. A few pigs, sturdy fencing, and an area that needs clearing is all you need. For a small project, 2 to 3 pigs are sufficient. You don't need to micromanage them. Just contain them in the target zone for a couple of weeks, make sure they have water and basic feed, and let nature take over. Over time, pigs don't just clear the land. They prepare it for planting in a way that's biologically active. Soil is aerated, nutrients are distributed, and weeds are disrupted. Unlike a tractor that compacts soil, pigs create conditions that encourage stronger plant growth. The economic benefits are significant. Renting machinery, hiring labor, or using chemical treatments for comparable results can cost hundreds to thousands of dollars. Pigs accomplish the same work for the cost of feed and minimal infrastructure. And there's an added bonus. The pigs themselves provide meat, which can offset costs or generate extra income. Pigs also excel in spaces that are tricky for equipment, around trees, near buildings, or in uneven terrain. They adapt naturally, covering areas that would take hours with a tiller or brush hog. Heritage breeds like Kunikunas or Tamworths are especially gentle on delicate land, but any pig will do the job if managed correctly. By integrating pigs into your farm, you're not just reducing labor. You're building soil health, improving land usability, and creating a system where the farm actively works for you rather than against you. This makes expansion or planting projects smoother, faster, and more cost-effective. Next, we'll explore a surprising guardian that protects livestock without barking, digging, or needing constant supervision. The next animal every smart farmer should consider is a llama or alpaca. These gentle creatures are surprisingly effective guardians for smaller livestock, offering protection without the constant supervision or noise of dogs. Unlike guardian dogs, they don't require intensive training or bonding. They naturally watch over sheep, goats, and other vulnerable animals, making them perfect for farmers who want security without extra stress. The key to their effectiveness is vigilance. Llamas and alpacas instinctively detect and respond to predators like coyotes or foxes. When a threat appears, they position themselves between the predator and the herd, emit alarm calls, and even chase or stomp to drive intruders away. This natural protective behavior drastically reduces losses, giving you peace of mind and lowering the anxiety that comes from checking on your animals at night. Getting started is simple. Introduce a single llama or alpaca to your herd and let it integrate naturally. You don't need elaborate bonding routines, just basic care, annual shearing, hoof trimming, and regular health checks. Over time, they provide consistent protection while requiring minimal day-to-day management. Their presence alone improves herd stability, creating a calmer, safer farm environment. Beyond protection, llamas and alpacas provide valuable secondary benefits. Their fiber is prized for its softness and warmth, fetching premium prices from hand spinners and fiber artists. With minimal effort, this can create an additional income stream, sometimes completely offsetting care costs. Plus, unlike dogs, they don't bark at night, dig under fences, or roam, making them ideal for farms near neighbors or in residential areas. The longevity of these animals also makes them a smart investment. A single llama can provide 2 decades of protection, so the initial cost, though higher than a dog, is spread over many years of service. For farms aiming for sustainable, low-maintenance solutions, they're a standout choice. Here's how to make all these working animals truly transform your farm without feeling overwhelmed. The biggest mistake most farmers make isn't adding animals, it's trying to add them all at once. Chickens, goats, sheep, ducks, pigs, guardian dogs, llamas, each has its own needs, behaviors, and rhythms. When you try to manage everything simultaneously, nothing gets done well. Problems compound, frustration grows, and the system collapses before it even starts. The smarter approach is focus. Start with your farm's single biggest challenge. Is pest pressure eating your crops? Begin with a few chickens. Is overgrown brush taking over your land? Introduce goats. Predator losses stressing you out? A guardian dog or llama will do the job. Solve one problem completely before moving to the next. This builds confidence and competence. You learn the rhythm of working with that species, troubleshoot effectively, and develop general livestock management skills that make the next integration smoother. Infrastructure follows the same principle. Don't overbuild or overspend upfront. Improve one system at a time. Solid fencing before adding animals that test boundaries. Reliable water before introducing creatures that need daily access. Proper shelter before weather-dependent animals arrive. Every improvement protects your investment and ensures the animals thrive. Add them too early and they get sick, escape, or underperform, wasting time and money. Another key tip is removing friction first. Often, one small change makes everything else easier. Better fencing, cleared problem areas, or improved water systems can unlock the full value of the animals you already have. Do less, but do it better. Each successful integration compounds over time, letting your farm work for you instead of the other way around. Finally, remember the power of small, steady steps. You don't need to overhaul your farm overnight. Start with one animal, one solution, one system. Even imperfect implementation produces results. The beauty of these living tools is they keep giving back year after year, reproducing, creating more value, and quietly multiplying the benefits of your initial effort. When you combine patience, focus, and the right animals, real farm efficiency emerges naturally. Less work, lower costs, healthier land, and more calm in your day-to-day life. If you've enjoyed learning these strategies, make sure to subscribe to Zero to Purpose for more practical, calm farming wisdom delivered regularly. The next video will dive deeper into how to optimize rotations and interactions between multiple species for maximum productivity. By now, you've seen how each of these animals, from chickens to goats, ducks to sheep, pigs, guardian dogs, and llamas, can quietly transform your farm. But the real magic happens when you understand that their value isn't just in what they do individually, it's in how they interact with the systems you already have. Chickens improve soil, reduce pests, and provide eggs. Goats clear overgrowth, control weeds, and offer milk or meat. Ducks patrol gardens, eliminating slugs and snails while producing nutritious eggs. Sheep maintain pastures, add fertility, and even reduce wildfire fuel. Guardian dogs and llamas protect your animals with minimal intervention. Pigs prepare the land naturally, turning tough jobs into effortless soil improvement. Each animal fills a specific gap, but the trick is adding them gradually, allowing their impact to compound without creating overwhelm. Start small. Focus on one animal and the one problem it solves best. Observe, learn, and refine your process. Notice how much less time you spend reacting to issues. Feel the relief of not constantly chasing pests, weeds, or predators. Let one success build your confidence before adding the next animal. This is how farms grow smarter, not just bigger. The payoff goes beyond efficiency. Animals reproduce, feed themselves in part, and even generate additional income streams: eggs, milk, meat, wool, or fiber. Unlike machinery that depreciates, breaks, or needs constant fuel, animals multiply your initial investment naturally. The first small flock of chickens can eventually lead to a full ecosystem of working animals that improve soil, protect crops, and support your family or farm business for years to come. So remember, productivity on a farm isn't about pushing harder or buying more. It's about working with nature, using living systems to take care of the hard work for you. One animal, one problem, one solution at a time. That's how real efficiency, sustainability, and calm farming happen. If you found this useful, give the video a like and share it with farmers who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe to Zero to Purpose for practical, stress-free farming wisdom delivered weekly. Start small, stay consistent, and watch your farm transform naturally.